In this video, I'm checking out the FX-Audio DAC-M1. Now this is an interesting little DAC. It's got some really cool extra features, so if you want to know what they are, stick around, but let's get into it. What's cracking audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. Now this is the little FX-Audio DAC-M1. And I can tell you, compared to their older models, this is taking a very different approach, at least in the physical sense. You see, their past models always had these really utilitarian sort of industrial designs, whereas this one's gone for a much sleeker, trendier, modern aesthetic, and I think that looks dope. Comes in 3 colors, by the way. Comes in blue, grey and pink, or pinky purple, sort of a mauvey mixy. I'm not sure, it looks different in photographs, but yep, anodized aluminium chassis here. It's very lightweight, it's very small. It's you know, roughly the size of my DAP here, and the DAP is roughly the size of your average telephone, mobile phone. So it's pretty small, takes up very little space on the desktop. Let me tell you some facts about it. First of all, the price is $219 US. The DAC chip inside the M1 is an ES9038Q2M. Yeah, basically. And now, it's got Bluetooth. Well, we'll get to that. Let me tell you what's on the panels first. So on the front panel here, you got your power button. Now, a long press on the button will turn the unit on or off, and a short press enables the mute. Now, here is a 6.35mm single-ended headphone output, and here is your volume knob, which also acts as a button. Now, over on the back, you've got your optical input, USB Type-C input, Bluetooth antenna for Bluetooth input, obviously, 12-volt power input or power plug, coaxial input, and here we have RCA outs or line outs. So that is a pretty versatile little setup for a little device like this. And before we go any further, I just want to plug this guy in so I can show you the display and the menu. Plug it in there, and here we go, it's on. Let's come in a bit closer. Right, so here it is. Check out the display. This USB here is the current input. The RCA is the current output mode. PCM, normally that will display the current sample rate. Volume up here. And this is the digital filter setting. And let's take a look at the menu. To access the menu, you just press the button here, and you've got input, output, filter, dimmer, monitor, and reset. I'll go through these quickly. Input, USB, coaxial, optical, and Bluetooth. By the way, a long press on that button will take you back to the previous menu page. Output options. Now this is really interesting. When it's on RCA and headphone out, the headphone jack and the line out will output simultaneously, and you control both at the same time with the volume knob. When it's on RCA or headphone, now I've just taken off the Bluetooth antenna for a minute so it doesn't get in the way while I'm flipping it about. So I wanted to show you this feature. As I was saying, when the output is selected to RCA or headphone, let's go back to the main screen. Check this out. Right now it's on RCA, which means it's outputting to the RCA or the line output. Well, as soon as you plug a headphone in, it switches automatically to headphone. So headphone, RCA, headphone, RCA. I could do that all day, honestly, that's fun. But that is a really cool and very convenient feature. And I tell you what, once you've been living with that feature for a while, it's very hard to go back to a DAC that doesn't have that, especially if you're regularly or often switching between speakers and headphones. Also, another really awesome thing about that is it remembers the individual volume settings for each one. So right now, the headphone out volume is at 30 and the line out is at 74. So if I change the line out, let's put it on 85. I'll plug it into the headphones and you see we're back to 30. And now if I take that out, we go back to line out at 85 volume. Awesome, sweet feature, way to go. Okay, let's talk about the headphone output real quick. The output power of the headphone jack is 500 milliwatts, which is pretty decent. It's not beastly, but you should be able to comfortably drive most headphones up to about 300 ohm without any difficulty. Pretty much any in-ear monitor or earphone you can throw at it, it will power those just fine, except for a couple of ridiculous ones like the Tin Hi-Fi P2, for example. It might work. I didn't try it, but so anything but the most demanding super high impedance or very demanding planar headphones, this has got sufficient power. And if it doesn't, remember that this unit can act as a preamp as well. So for example, if I've got my X-Duo MT602 little tube amplifier here, I can simply plug that into the line out, red for right, white for left, and there you go. I've got loads of power at my disposal for more demanding headphones if I so desire. So that is a pretty cheap little setup, but you know, if you just got regular off-the-shelf headphones and earphones, this has got ample power and it sounds pretty great. So with that segue, let's move on to how the unit actually sounds. And you know, this surprised me because it's got this sort of a cute little look going for it. It looks a little bit like not a serious audiophile device, but in fact, it's got a very serious audiophile sound. First of all, the sound signature in general is very detailed. It's a very resolving DAC, and it's got good end-to-end extension. Like you plug in a good set of headphones or speakers, and the bass extension on this is fantastic. Digs really deep. You get these beautiful, well-controlled bass notes. The mid-range is extremely resolving. It's very detailed, and the soundstage is really good. You know, that depends, of course, somewhat on your headphones or speakers, but as far as the DAC goes, it does create a very nice soundstage, and it's very good with spatial positioning or imaging. Left to right stereo separation is fantastic. So with, let's say, for example, the Hi-Fi Man Sundara, which is one of the ones one of the headphones I was testing with, really nice left and right imaging, pretty good spatial presentation where you can really get a good sense of where various instruments are in the soundscape or the stage. And yeah, as far as the treble goes, it's pretty much neutral treble. It's not forward or it's not laid back. It's just as is. It's just uncolored pretty much. But the extension is good again. It doesn't sound compressed, or the overall tonal balance of this little DAC is very pleasing. It's really nice, and overall, yeah, it's a very pleasant little DAC. I've actually been using this as my daily driver for like 3 or 4 weeks, and honestly, I could live with it on a daily basis. It sounds great. I do have a couple of little gripes that with it. One is the silicone or plastic feet on the bottom. They're just a little bit hard, so it doesn't stick to your desk that well. It slides around a little bit. That's just nitpicking, obviously. The other thing is the unit can get quite hot if it's been turned on for a while. It does get very warm, and so I would have loved to see some perforation or some venting on the chassis like we have on the X Duo here, some perforations in the sides or something like that. While a closed unit is great for keeping out dust and whatnot, I think personally I would prefer to have some ventilation just to keep the unit a bit cooler, because it does get pretty hot. But that doesn't affect performance in any way. So yeah, that about wraps it up, guys. This is a great little DAC. I would recommend it. Who is it for exactly? Well, I would say if you are sort of just starting out in the audiophile game, you need a little bit more power, just want something that's small and simple, this is a great unit to start with, especially if you like have desktop monitors, desktop speakers on your desk, and you switch regularly between headphones and speakers, or even if you don't. It's just a solid little unit. It's got multiple input options, digital inputs. It's got your analog line out there. Headphone out is nice and clean, reasonably powerful, but yeah, it's a good little DAC. By the way, guys, there is one little thing I forgot to mention, and that is the unit comes with this remote here. Pretty simple but functional. Just thought I'd throw that in there in case you're wondering, because yeah, for some people that might be a game changer, it does come with a remote, so there you go. Okay guys, that's it for this video. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Parfam, audiophile style, and if you're new to the channel and you want to see more reviews like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and until next time, see you later.